Now, I know a lot of you may be asking yourself, why is the title of this video that title? Why is Gen Urobuchi in my thumbnail? And the reason is, I truly believe he might be working on Flip Flappers. And I have a couple of reasons for that. It's very, very possible he's not. I mean, it's honestly a 1 in a million chance that he is. But even if he's not, the mastermind behind Flip Flappers, there is a much darker story being told than what I initially thought, especially coming off of last week when I did make that video saying it was very Looney Tune-esque humor and it was a very cute and simple story, and I actually even denied, the darker themes that some people were saying were gonna pop up or already have. But after rewatching episode 1, after seeing the scenery, the imagery, everything that's being used, this is a much darker series than it's letting on, and similar to Madoka, I feel like when the dark twist comes, that's when Gen Urobuchi's name is going to be revealed, because if you didn't know, Madoka Magica or Madoka Magica, however you pronounce that, he wasn't revealed to be the scriptwriter until episode 3, and if you don't know, episode 3 is when a darker twist does happen in Madoka, because if his name was revealed earlier, people would know it wasn't just a simple Magical Girl series, and I feel like something similar has happened. Now, the episode 1 writer is already listed on Anime News Network, so there is already someone who's credited for last week's episode, but that doesn't mean Gen didn't also write that episode, or Gen isn't writing future episodes. Because I really feel like there is so many similarities between the two. Like, I'm not saying the stories are similar. I'm saying how it's kind of subtly layering, more than meets the eye, a darker theme to this is very similar to what Madoka did. I mean, in episode 1, when Paprika and Kokona are actually sitting in a cave, it actually resembles a skull. If you look at it right now, it looks like a skull. And even within the first few minutes of the first episode, there is a dead girl laying in front of the door, which seems to be like one of these magical girls that kind of get transformed. And Kokona is pretty much, told that the scientists are saying that she is a candidate that has been chosen. So it seems to me that they keep picking girls and they keep dying when they get into these worlds because they can't survive, and it seems like Kokona is the only one who has been able to survive 2 worlds at this point, as their goal is to collect these shards so they can liberate this world, free it from whatever is holding it down. But at the same time, these scientists might be trying to free it from something that doesn't need to be freed. They may be the enemies, and, possibly Paprika doesn't know what's going on because she was probably just created to help, other girls ascend to these worlds and pretty much collect these shards for unknown reasons. And there's this other group who we appear to, think is the enemy trying to steal these shards, but maybe they're, the actual good guys. Just the scenery with how it uses negative space, just the imagery being used, it feels very eerie and very dark. Like, we literally see a dead girl in the first episode, and we see them sitting looking like it's a skull. It seems to me like there is this darker tone that, they're willing to kill girls to get these shards, and they have gone through multiple girls going to these worlds, is what it seems like. And that's why I really believe Gen Urobuchi may be on helm, because as far as I know, the only thing he's currently working on is Godzilla of next year, and of course there's going to be a second season of that puppet show. I think it was Thunderbolt Fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. So he is working on things, but that doesn't mean he didn't have time to write a script or write episodes for Flip Flappers. So I'm willing to put money that it's possible he may be the creative mastermind behind this. Now, like I said, this is a 1 in a million chance of me saying this, but there is so many similarities with how Madoka layered things to how Flip Flappers is laying things, and the fact that Madoka didn't reveal that Gen was on board until episode 3, until the dark twist. I feel like something like that could happen for Flip Flappers, maybe in episode 4, maybe episode 5, maybe if Kokona and Paprika see someone they know get brutally killed entering this world, and they learn what is truly happening with that, that's when it's revealed that he's actually working on it. But even if he's not working on it, it doesn't change the fact that there is these darker tones, this more mature storyline that is being told underneath this cute style. And I feel like I may be onto something. And like I said, I could be completely wrong, but if you really look at how both series are doing things, I feel like it could be. And the only writer we have for, as of I'm recording this, is the episode 1 writer, which also doesn't mean there could have been more writers involved with that first episode, or Gen just has some say in some of this. I just feel like it's very possible. Even if you hate Gen Urobuchi, even if you love him, there is a lot of similarities, and that's why I want to, kind of put the two together, because I feel like if I didn't say this and episode 5 comes and it's revealed that this is a Gen anime, I would be kicking myself. So I want to put it out there, even if I'm completely wrong. But even if I am completely wrong with this being Gen, my point stands with these darker undertones and the scenes that I just pointed out. But in terms of the second episode, it did exactly what I wanted it to. It's continuing to build on this world. We're getting, it seems like, a new world each and every week. This week was another really interesting world where we have literally this rabbit world that they get transformed. They always want to constantly chew. But what's interesting with that world is the imagery they used in this kind of dream world was actually very kind of referencing, sexuality and coming out and embracing yourself, if you really look at how everything was kind of handled. So I mean, I was just like, okay, there definitely is a much more mature kind of storyline, even if it's not being thrown in your face. But when Kokono was actually in that cage with her rabbit who turned into like a bunny man in this world, and she was going towards lava, I was sitting here thinking this really feels darker than what it's letting on. That was just kind of really well written, but also really kind of eerie and kind of dark, even with the background sometimes they were using. But what I really liked was the fact that Kokono was like, listen, I don't want to go on adventuring. I almost saw you die last week. You can see the brutality in some of, the fight scenes that were being used in last week with how brutal it was. And even when, Paprika was smashing her hand on the door, it was blood was coming down. It just really feels darker than it's letting on, I have to say. But I really did like this world. I liked kind of their interaction and kind of saying, okay, well, sometimes I do want to go on adventures with you, but that's going to have a negative impact. I do see I don't see either Kokono or Paprika dying. I see both of them fine, but one of their friends possibly is going to get roped in one of these worlds and is going to end up dead. And I think that's where it's going to be okay, this is darker than it's letting on, or at least letting on if you're just kind of looking at it, but not really paying attention to all the subtle details, because I didn't last week. And in doing so, I thought it was just a simple and cute show when it clearly isn't. It's a much more mature show than it's actually letting on. But I have to say, the way they're actually detailing each world is very impressive. It's a really artistic series. It's very different from other anime this season, but at the same time, it's very clean in its presentation. It gets rough when it's moving very fast paced, but it works in a stylized manner for it, so I really like how it's looking. The episode itself I thought was amazing. I really liked it. And in a lot of ways, I think Flip Flappers might be the anime I'm looking forward to the most each week, because I'm so interested in what it's truly going for. And I do think that these scientists that are trying to liberate this world are actually the antagonists, and we won't see that until a bit later on. But time will tell. But I have to say, Flip Flappers once again delivered. I really enjoyed this episode. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about me, comparing the two with Gen? And do you think, it's possible after seeing what it is? Like I said, it's a 1 in a million chance that he is, because there's so many anime writers, directors out there that really could be doing just a darker of a series than Gen has done. But I feel like there is just so many similarities, especially with this being an anime original. No one knows what's truly happening here. But do you agree with me? Or if you don't agree with me, do you agree at least that, this is a much darker and kind of messed up series than it's letting on at first glance? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe for more content like this and so much more. So until next time, everyone, please take care. Have a good one.